Welcome back to Ask the Experts with myself, Lisa Kelly from Salon Solutions and Websites for Clinics. Now, most clinic and salon owners I know are great at what you do, but you're often stuck wearing two hats, the practitioner, the full-time marketeer. But if your growth feels unpredictable or you've been burnt by cheap ads and lead generation agencies that overpromise and underdeliver, you're going to love today's guest. He specializes in taking the stress out of chasing business and creating a stress free client flow so that you can actually focus on growing your clinic or salon with confidence. Meet Ross McNamee from RFM Digital. Ross, great to have you here.
Hey Lisa, thank you so much for having me on. I think it's long overdue, but I'm really glad to be on here.
I'm very excited to have you here today. So, you're very welcome. So, tell us a little bit more about your business, RFM Digital, and how it helps clinics and salons.
Yeah, of course. So I started RFM Digital probably about 2, 3 years ago at this stage, probably 2.5 years. And we're positioned as a growth partner for clinics. Okay, so as you know, like a lot of clinics may use a lead generation agency, may use a freelancer, they might do the ads or advertising or whatever they do themselves. And the way we position ourselves is like a full stack growth partner for clinics. So we come in and we run the three pillars that I believe help grow clinics, which is attract, convert, and retain. Okay, we can speak a little bit more about the actual ins and outs of those three pillars later on. But
Yeah,
that's what we do is we come into clinics and we help them grow with reliability and consistently. That's kind of what we do.
that's fantastic. And Ross, what do you find is broken in most clinics before they even look at running ads?
So for me, when I speak to clinic owners, a lot of them don't understand their numbers. So a lot of them might, do boosted posts on Instagram. They might be acquiring patients through like maybe events, or they might be going to networking events, or they might be just running some Google ads, whatever it is. And the main thing I see that's broken is two things. Okay, it's two metrics. It's average patient value. Okay, so they're
Yeah.
not making enough per patient. And when we go to advertise and we're putting X amount into any advertising channel, we need to make sure that we're making enough per patient to actually be able to afford this. And if someone hasn't run ads before and they're relying on word of mouth, their average patient value is probably sufficient enough. They'll be making enough profit margin because they're not spending to acquire a patient. But once we go and we start spending to acquire a patient, average patient value is huge. And I think we're going to speak a little bit later on about average patient value, but
Yeah,
increasing LTV/ABV is key because we need to be able to afford to spend to get patients. It's the only way we can
exactly.
grow. It's the only way we can grow.
Yes.
And the other thing is, if they are advertising, another thing that's broken is they don't know their CAC. So CAC is customer acquisition cost.
Mm,
And we want to build everything around this number to make sure we stay profitable. So that's kind of the two things. They don't know how much they're spending to get a patient. They might be
yeah.
looking at cost per lead, or they're not making enough per patient. So we'll probably speak a little more about that. But that's my main thing. Is probably the average patient value is not high enough.
That's very, very interesting. And then how do you actually get paying clients into the clinics?
Yeah. So for us, as I said, we have a three-step process. We have attract, convert, and retain. Okay. So that's how we look at growing a clinic. The first step is attract. So it's like, how are we getting consistent lead flow into the clinic? Our two pillars are Meta and Google Ads. That's
Yeah.
where 90% of acquisition can go into a scalable system. So we build like referral systems. You can do a load of things. You can do, as I said, the networking events, the referral systems. You can, sponsor local football teams. That's fine. But when we're growing clinics, if the clinic owner has ambitions and opening up a second, third, fourth location, we need a
Yeah.
predictable, reliable system. We can't be relying on these one-off events or one-off referrals. We want to
It's too
have
much of a roller
scale.
coaster.
Yeah, we want consistency, reliability, and scalability. So they're the three pillars again for acquisition. I use this is 90% of it is Google Ads and Meta Ads. Okay, so we have Google Ads for capturing your search traffic, YouTube, etc. We have Meta Ads for reaching people that are potentially suffering with the pain points you solve, and we can actually
Yeah.
proactively go out and get them. So they're the two pillars that we get patients in. And the key principle is the reason why we do the two of them is because we don't want to be reliant on one channel. And that's key for, lowering your stress as a business owner. It's key potentially if someone wants to exit eventually. We have multiple channels. it's really key. But the two steps and the two pillars are Google Ads and Meta Ads for actually acquiring patients into the clinic. And then there's the process of converting them. But for now, just the attract piece is
Yes.
Meta and Google.
Meta and Google, very good. And as you said,
Yeah,
I suppose with Google, they have more of an intent to buy at that stage, don't they? But yet,
yeah,
using Meta is you're going to have a bigger reach to newer people to
yeah.
spread the word about the brand.
Like just another point on Google Ads there. A lot of people, I actually, when I'm consulting the clinics, we always do Meta Ads first. But a lot of clinics only run Google Ads. And then again, the issue with that is you're relying on people to look for you, which is
Yeah,
why actually a lot of clinics probably have tried Meta Ads and the leads are unqualified and they have their own reason for why it didn't work. We have ways of filtering out unqualified leads, but again, I can speak on that another time. But Google Ads, you're still relying on people coming to you. People think, oh, well, I run Google Ads, I have my own acquisition. So you don't really, because you're still relying on people searching for you or searching for your service. So someone that has back pain or, has an ambition in getting something facially done, whatever it is,
yeah,
they may not be proactively looking for it. But if you can capture that attention on Meta, you can scale it, like, because you can hit everybody at that stage. But on Google,
yeah.
you're still sitting back waiting for it to come to you. So that's why, again, the two of them are very key, especially why Google and Meta are different and why one performs outperforms the other.
Absolutely. Yeah, each has its own strategy, but working together can be most effective the way
Yeah,
you do it. Yeah, very good.
definitely.
How do you increase the patient lifetime value instead of just generating more leads?
Yeah, yes. This is, as I said, this is key. This is key. Lifetime value and average patient value is what I see differentiates clinics the most. Okay, it can allow us to spend more to get a patient. It can allow us to outspend the competition. But to how to actually increase it, there's like six pillars that I always kind of consult on. So a few of them we can build out, and a few of them we can rely on the business owner to build out. But number one is structured treatment plans or packages.
Yeah,
Okay, this is like the number one thing. If you're still selling appointments or you're selling sessions, I believe you're seen as a commodity because if one clinic's charging €80 per session and the other one's charging 75, you're probably going to go with the one that maybe, let's say, all variables the same reviews, whatever. You're going to go for the cheaper one, and that's how we don't want to be in a race to the bottom for price.
because it's
So
just like a transaction. Otherwise, it's a transaction versus the relationship.
exactly. So
Yeah.
like when you structure treatment plans and packages, it works on because you're selling the outcome. So let's say someone comes in, we don't usually advise, selling the treatment plan before they come in. But let's say they come in for a consultation, they come in for, a discounted service to get them into the clinic. This is when your practitioners or your employees are trained to sell the treatment package as an outcome. So let's say again, someone has back pain and they want to resolve that back pain. It's not about selling them 3 sessions. It's about we kind of come up with mechanisms and names. So like we have one that's a back to strength program. And it gives people a bit more hope in what you have to offer. Instead of just saying I'm coming in for €70 a session, they're calculating I'll spend €300 now
Mm.
to potentially get my back pain fixed. We do a treatment plan over 6 weeks or whatever the treatment plan can be. This can be kind of based on more the business owner and their mechanism. But treatment plans are key because you're not selling the appointments, you're selling the outcome. And we build the outcome and the package into one offer. It also allows you to, get the cash up front. So if someone comes in for a free consultation or they come in for a consultation, all of a sudden they could be walking out just after spending €600 on a package that it's going to go on for 12 weeks, which will allow you to reinvest. And I think it's
Mm.
key. So no matter what you do, I think selling appointments is no longer working the way it used to, and selling the actual outcomes allows you not to be positioned as a commodity and allows you to get more cash up front as well. So that's pillar number one.
Mm.
Pillar number two is reactivation systems. So we want a system to stay in contact with the patient automatically without manually following up. But let's say you're selling appointments or you're selling treatment plans. We want an automation to go out that when the patient has been discharged, you want to have regular touch points with this patient to get them back in or just to keep you top of mind. So when they're going to refer someone, you're the first person they think of. So we like to do a cadence of 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 6 months, 9 months, and a year for reactivation. So the
Mm.
second someone leaves the clinic, they get an email and SMS touch point on all those timelines I just mentioned. So we build this for our partners. It's completely automated. Once the patient's been discharged, they get these messages and these emails automatically. And there's a bunch of things you can say in them, but offers, checking in, seeing if they need any more advice, seeing if they need another appointment. These are key. So reactivation be the second pillar. Number three is referral systems. So most
Yeah.
clinics are always kind of built off word of mouth initially, referrals,
Yeah.
word of mouth. But I feel like a lot of clinic owners, they they're just relying on the referrals instead of proactively saying, hey,
Managing. Yeah.
refer someone to me. Like,
Mm.
so we actually build offers to encourage referrals just past asking them when they're walking out. So we do a thing called credit slash cashback. So if I go into a clinic and I get a session, they'll get, number one, we train the practitioner to give them this offer in clinic. So say, hey, by the way, on your way out, if you do know anyone that could get their back pain resolved, we can offer you €50 in cashback and we'll give them €50 off their first session. So it's
Yes.
incentivizing both parties, cashback slash credit offer. I love it. It works really well. But
Mm.
that's great. So you have the referral system. We build out the forms for it, everything like that. We also want to be able to remind people that are being discharged of this offer. So again, referral systems. There's like a stat that came out, it's like within the first 48 hours is when people are primed to refer. So the second they're discharged, within 6 hours, they'll get an email and SMS message to remind them of the referral offer to say they can get €50 in cashback. The person they're referring is getting €50 in credit. And I know people may be growing off word of mouth and they may be getting referrals as it is, but this is just a really good way to encourage it. And if we know if a patient comes in and we're acquiring patients and we're building our advertising strategy and we're looking at our economics, if we know we can get one patient in and that patient reliably refers two other,
Mm.
how much of a peace of mind is that for someone? Is that,
Mm.
let's say, a patient's worth €1,000 and we're looking at advertising. So it's like, oh, you could probably spend €200 maybe to get them into the clinic. But if they refer to other people, it's like, why not spend a little bit more if we can get them in if they're bringing three patients with them? So
Yeah.
again, that's the third
Yeah.
pillar. And number four pillar is continuity and membership offers. Again, I could go so deep in all these. So I think,
Yeah. It's
well,
fascinating.
yeah, there's so many, there's so much, nuances and individual kind of processes for each pillar. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll go briefly through the last three. So continuity membership is we can bring in monthly discounts if they sign up to membership. They can get,
Mm.
WhatsApp access. They can get access to the phone. Whatever it is, I think it's really essential to build a membership slash recurring model to your
Yeah.
offer.
Because then
So
you're
if
getting
someone,
recurring revenue into the clinic as well, which
yeah,
is great.
yeah, if someone wants to potentially exit the clinic in a few years, investors love recurring revenue, and that's the issue with
Mm.
some clinics is that it's not
Mm.
recurring. So if you have, €5,000 from each clinic that you own coming in every regularly as a baseline,
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
foundation,
Yeah.
and every month
Before
you
you
start
even
off,
sell any treatments.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
you can nearly pay off an employee every month guaranteed.
Mm.
So something like that is key. I mean, there's loads of stuff I can go into from there, but building in continuity slash membership offer, it's great. And if anyone here hasn't read the book Money Models by Alex Hormozy, he explains it all on how to build the offer and how to sell it and how to structure it. Great book. I recommend looking at it because it will help you build all these offers. Number five is ascension offers. So this doesn't work for every clinic, but let's
Mm.
say for an aesthetic clinic, someone might come in
Yeah.
for a facial, they might come in for whatever. We can then upsell them to a higher value service. So they might be able to then purchase something that's, triple the price, but gives the same outcome in a shorter time period. So there's ascension offers. And finally, there's product monetization. And again,
Yes.
that's very straightforward. And I think, Lisa, you know a lot about this as well. I think you're building
Very
out
big fan of this.
yeah, you're building out the e-commerce side of it, I think, for some partners of yours. So
Yeah.
if you can, let's say for a physio, they can sell rehab tools, they can sell medicine balls, they can sell foam rollers. For the aesthetic click, they could sell products. And you'll often see, I don't know, obviously, probably, I don't know how it is in salons, but I say I go to a barber, I'm always asked, they ask, do you want any product in your hair? And I might be
Yes.
like, yeah, can I get the hair cream or whatever? They'll put it
Mm.
in. They'll be like, by the way, this is €12 if you want it. And that's just
Absolutely.
they're just getting more revenue and more LTV out of each patient. So that's probably the six pillars that I would go through. So again, I'll just repeat them over time. Structured treatment plans. We have reactivation systems. We have referral systems. We have continuity offers. We have ascension offers, and we have product monetization. Probably more. That's the six pillars that we'll consult
Mm.
on and make sure our partners are doing these correctly and regularly.
No, that's really excellent because it's such added value. So it's a way of just not just doing ads to bring in the clients, but I'm a real believer in working with your client base because it's the old 80-20 rule. We
Yeah.
do get most of the business out of our existing clientele. It costs so much more to get new clients in. If you work on your existing client base, offer them everything that you've been saying. It just builds a lovely, strong bond and relationship so that they want to stay with you. They wouldn't dream of going anywhere else. And B, they
Yeah.
just will buy vouchers online, online or
Which
vouchers,
is another
whatever.
one actually.
Yeah, it's a great revenue earner. You can earn an extra 8 to 10% for your business annually through offering this, as it's just another revenue earner for you. But also when you sell online vouchers or vouchers in clinic or salon, you're not just selling a voucher, you're gaining new clients because usually your clients will buy the vouchers people they love because they trust you and want the other people to experience what they've experienced. When they come through the door to you, it's a client on a plate. Like, it's
Yeah.
fantastic marketing, isn't it? So I love
Yeah.
all the referral schemes you're doing. And even I think the memberships has been huge in the States for the last few years, but a
Yeah.
lot of in Ireland here, especially in the UK, they're doing quite a bit of them, but here in Ireland, there's not enough
Yeah.
referral systems, and that they just don't know how to do it. So it's wonderful that that's part of your system and of your
Yeah.
service,
Absolutely.
because have to work on your existing clients before you start looking at them. The smarter clinics are doing them. And I think people are scared because of the technology involved, and they think it's too difficult to set up spending on new ones.
Yeah.
But that said, we were talking a little bit earlier on about patient value and long-term value, etc. But when you look at the metrics, what are the most important metrics that actually matter for a
Yeah.
clinic?
Yeah. So I have like a North Star metric that I base everything around. Okay. And it's like, if this metric is in the green, I believe any clinic can scale. Okay. So this is my favorite metric in business and when
Mm,
scaling clinics. Okay. It's CAC to LTV. So it's actually it's a ratio between CAC and LTV. CAC, as I said, stands for customer acquisition cost, and
yeah,
LTV stands for lifetime value. Clinic speak could be APV, average patient value.
yeah,
So the ratio between these two numbers is something we need to get right at the foundation before we start to scale our advertising. So, for example, let's say our CAC, so the amount it costs us to get a patient is €10,
yeah,
and our LTV is €100. Now, obviously, the economics can be much bigger at a
mm,
clinic level. I'm just keeping it simple for maths.
yeah,
That means your CAC to LTV ratio is 1 to 10. Okay. We now know if we put €1, if we at the base level, we put €1 into XYZ channel, this will bring us 10 in LTV. Okay. So that metric there is
ah,
something we need to understand, and we need to make sure we have it completely correct. My kind of gold star, like my metric for the like our kind of our red level is 1 to 9. Okay. And when I say LTV, I look at lifetime gross profit. So
okay,
if I want that to be 1 to 9. So if we spend €1 on ads, I want €9 to come out in gross profit over the lifetime of this patient journey. So again, as I said, let's say we spend €100 to acquire a patient and they bring us €900 in
yeah,
lifetime gross profit. That's when I know we're in the green, and that's when I know we can pump as much budget into this as long as we stay underneath €100 per acquisition.
okay,
So CAC to LTV, if we can understand exactly the ratio, and as long as we stay over 1 to 9, I know we're profitable. And I know there's breathing room. I know there's if for example 1 month, CPMs on Meta go up, let's say Q4 just passes there at Christmas, advertising can go up. And our ratio could go to 1 to 7 or 1 to 7.5. We know we're still well profitable, but I know we're doing a great job if it's 1 to 9. So that might be a little bit technical for someone listening to this. And I think I might just say this, Lisa, if anyone does want to
mm,
jump on a call with me after this, I'm going to offer a free consultation to anybody that wants to jump on. So just either message me or
amazing,
we
of
can
course,
give a link in the description. I'm not sure how you want to do it, but I
yeah,
can explain this a little bit more. But CAC to LTV is so, so key. I have a YouTube video on this. I just think it's the North Star metric that a lot of people ignore. And it explains the full economics of the whole business. Is that if we can spend €1 and we can get €9 out in lifetime gross profit, I know we're in the green, and I know they can reinvest. I know cash flow won't be an issue, and I know that if we have this reliability, the stress doesn't need to come for acquisition. They can just focus on operating. So that's the main metric for me as a clinic that actually matters.
That's really fascinating. And what we will do is after this, what I'll do is I'll put um, a link to yourself in the notes below, and even the link to that video that you mentioned as well. That would be very
Great.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
because
little more technical, but like it's the
yeah.
basic mathematics when it comes to
Mm.
just growing for me anyway. That's what I think.
Yeah, because I think as well, clinics and salons, they're afraid to invest in marketing because they might just see a certain number that they have for, for advertising outlay and the agency outlay. But I think it's just, as you said, it's about the lifetime value of the customer. It's not about getting load of leads. It's about getting actual people through the door that are quality leads, quality clients that will not just come to you once, but do those treatment plans and journeys and buy
Yeah,
vouchers. And it's just about giving them a really great experience so that they don't forget the feeling they had, they don't forget the service. And I mean, that's when you're on a great foot then to grow and get a great reputation, especially as the market is getting more saturated. We've seen it in the UK, that the UK is getting very saturated where laser hair removal is concerned, aesthetics, etc., where a lot of this is only new in Ireland at the moment. So I think the smart clinics and salons that can get ahead and use systems like this, they're on
yeah.
to a winner, aren't they?
Just,
Um,
just, just one more point on that. Actually,
mm,
just this metric also can help you make more profit as well. When you're looking at making more profit, okay, there's two things we can do. We can bring CAC to zero, or we can bring LTV to infinity. So a lot of people, when they're looking at their profitability and their advertising and looking at budgets, they're probably everyone's kind of focused on, let me bring my customer acquisition cost to zero. Let me bring it down, down, down. But you can only go to zero. You can't go to minus
mm,
acquisition cost. You can only go from 50 euro CAC to 40 euro to CAC. Okay. And a lot of people will look at that and be like, oh, like I've made an extra 10 euro in profit for a patient I bring in. But the game we like to play is we don't really need to focus on the acquisition cost that much, because at the end of the day, the local market, there's industry standards for CAC. Like, you're not going to bring CAC to zero. You might bring CAC down a little bit by 10% by making a new ad, but I don't believe that's where the focus should be. I think it should be LTV where the focus is, because we can easily go from 500 euro average patient value to 1,000, but it's hard to bring CAC from 50 to 25.
mm,
So I think the average patient value is the game we should all be playing. And if we want to grow, it shouldn't be let's optimize the advertising as much. Like, once the advertising is optimized,
mm.
you're not going to bring it from 50 euro to 10, but you might bring average patient value from 1,000 to 2,000 by building a referral system.
Exactly.
So that's just one thing. Again, like if you're looking at your profitability, I think
Mm,
focusing more, getting the advertising in place, get it optimized. But once it's optimized, let it run and just
yeah,
focus on average patient value.
and
Provide good
growing.
care, do the treatment plans, do the pillars that we spoke about. And that's the way I believe you'll actually make most profit in your business. It's not by bringing CAC to zero, it's by scaling LTV and making sure LTV is as high as it can possibly be ethically as well.
Yeah, no, I totally believe in that too, because even when we're advising clients as well about, using e-commerce as well to grow their business.
Yeah.
So their website is almost like a 24/7 employee. It can, help book appointments with the relevant booking system, sell vouchers, let them buy products. It's infinite, and even if they're selling in clinic as well, your scope to sell the products to help aftercare at home, as we say, most of the work happens 20% in the 10 to 20% in the salon or clinic. It's 80% at home. You have to keep going to maintain the treatment to prolong what you've invested in. So,
Yeah.
selling as much retail as you can, it can be infinite as well. So I think if you're just adopting these practices, they're already doing a lot of it, but just to kind of use it in a more structured way. And again, with the systems in place,
Yeah.
it's a great way to grow.
Absolutely.
So
Definitely.
we've touched already on building predictable patient flow, but maybe we can look at another question here, like what is the biggest mistake clinic owners make when hiring a marketing agency?
Yeah, yeah. This is the big one, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
if someone's watching this and they've been in business a few years and they've tried an agency before, I can virtually guarantee that you've been burnt before. There's
yeah,
been an agency that's promised everything and hasn't delivered what you need. Okay, so my main thing is, number one, I think invest into a growth partner. But if you're gonna hire an agency, I think the biggest red flag for me is if they're talking leads. We don't talk leads when like, let's say our reporting we do to our partners. It's all about what are we spending to acquire a patient? And what's our LTV? That's like the, again, as I said, North Star metric is like, what are we getting a patient for, and what are they bringing in lifetime gross profit? If you're hiring an agency, you're hiring a freelancer, or you're bringing someone in house to do marketing,
Yeah.
they need to understand that leads doesn't matter, cost per lead doesn't matter, lead volume doesn't matter. No one needs leads. If anything, high volume of leads is a bad thing because you're stuck following up with them. You're stuck. Your receptionist is being taken away from her job. It's it's the worst thing to focus on as leads. It's about patients, and it's about, are we increasing the average patient value? So if you're working with an agency, a freelancer in house, they need to understand that it's not leads. And if they're speaking leads, if they're reporting in leads, if they're reporting their CPL cost per lead, that's a red flag for me. And I never want to work with someone that's focusing on leads because there's incentives are misaligned. I can easily generate 100 leads tomorrow for a clinic if we just give some shot offer. But is that going to convert? Who knows? So that's why you need your agency, you need your marketing department to be focused on your CAC and what are you actually acquiring the patient for. So that's probably the biggest mistake is going with someone that speaks leads rather than patients. You need to
Okay.
understand your patient acquisition costs rather than just how much leads are you generating. It means nothing. It's a vanity metric
Mm,
at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's all about the quality, people coming through the door, what they're spending today, what they're going to spend with you over the relationship with you over the course of the future,
Yeah,
and then getting into letting them refer to others because they're so happy with you, they want to refer to others. No,
yeah.
it's yeah, because it's a big quagmire. We
Mhm.
speak to clinics and salons all the time who, what their biggest question is, how do I get in more clients? But then they have been, as I said, burnt by agencies and like that
That's the thing.
before.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
gives that. That's why we differentiate ourselves. And like agencies are churn and burn businesses. Their business model is if we get 100 customers, 100 businesses, how many businesses stay with us next month? Okay, 80 are with us. We have a 20% churn. We need to now, get more customers than we're churning and we'll grow. That's their economics. That's the business I never wanted to build. And that's the
Mm,
issue is that they just want to focus on their churn rate and just do enough so you're just about going to pay the next bill, not
mm,
about going beyond. And yeah, so I think another thing is just make sure they're not churning and burning their
mm.
clients. They want to work with you. They want to work with you long term. They're long term focused and they're advising on the whole business. I think it's a green flag. And I think leads and ads, if they're selling ads, it's bad. Ads and leads, bad thing they're selling, definitely.
Absolutely. So that leads nicely then in the service that you provide. You're not a
Yeah,
typical agency. You call it a growth partnership. So I think that's something that's probably a term that a lot of people wouldn't be really familiar with.
yeah.
So what is the difference?
We position ourselves as a growth partner. Okay. And my belief is that this is when the partnership works the best, is when we're focused on getting patients in profitably and increasing the average patient value. And the clinic owner is focused on operating the clinic. And as the business owner is running the clinic, there's so much fires to be put out. There's so many things going on.
Mm,
And I believe if we can take ownership of our three pillars, which is attract leads, convert leads, and retain leads, and retain patients, and they can stay focused on operating the clinic, hiring employees, opening up the location, getting the bills paid, getting the lease paid. That's when I believe the harmony works the best. Is when we're providing the growth, but they're actually operating the growth. They're making sure patients are happy. And that's when I believe it works the best. I've been a web designer, I've been a Google Ads agency, but where I felt most fulfilled is when I was taking ownership of it all. So
right.
that's why we position ourselves as a growth partner rather than us coming in as a service provider and being
Mm,
a meta ads provider or meta ads service agency. I want to come in and say, we're just going to run your growth systems. We're going to build your referral systems. We're going to manage them. We're going to build your meta ads. We're going to manage them. We're going to build your Google ads. We're going to manage them. And we're going to actually convert the leads as well through automation. So that means the business owner can have peace of mind to say, I really want to grow. Oh, but if I open up that other clinic, will I have patients come? It's like, no, we have the team at RFM Digital. We have Ross here. He just needs to turn on the ads for this new location and
yeah.
we can just provide that. And also like longer term, like we're going to start investing into clinics as well. So
Mm,
not just putting our time, but like actually investing into clinics and growing clinics with operators. So that's our long-term vision is we're going to turn into a bit of a PE firm and actually be putting capital into clinics. We'll run the growth systems. The operator, the clinic owner actually operates and we can grow together. And I think it's a perfect relationship. And I think we're not the people that understand how to run a clinic. I'm not a practitioner. I don't run a clinic. I never have, but I know how to run the growth systems. So that's when I believe the relationship works best is that the
mm,
operator focuses on operating, focuses on the brick and mortar, and we
yeah,
focus on the growth. And I think that's just why I always just didn't like the agency model where it's like a metric of churn. It's like let's lower churn, let's get more patients than we're churning. Sorry, let's get more customers than we're churning. I never wanted that. I wanted real partnerships that I can focus on for decades. And eventually, if we're exiting, we can be involved, and that's the direction I want to
that's
go, and that's the
true. Yeah.
direction we have gone in.
Yeah, and that's very smart. And also, I just love the fact as well that you guys, although you're bringing in the leads as part of it, but that you're the one that actually nurture and convert the leads. It's not like just handing over a spreadsheet to the receptionist or to the owner. If it's the same, it's a lot of people who have these clinics are solo. A lot of our clients are
Yeah,
solo practitioners and solo salon owners. They can't do everything. As I said at the start, they wear so many hats, like you and I do as well. But no, it's a great service. It is a really good service. But can I ask you as well, when you first start with somebody like a clinic or a salon, when you audit them,
yeah.
what do you first look at?
Yeah, so I know anyone's watching this is probably sick of me saying it, but I look at two things. I look at their acquisition cost and I look at their average patient value. And that's the one thing that I audit as like let's say the clinic owner might have a bunch of metrics they look at. They might look at employee churn, they might look at, customer, and they might look at their reviews, they might look at, you know, how many referrals are coming in. But as a growth partner and what we look at and what my most important metric is number one, do we have an acquisition system? So, like, do we have a way to turn on something, turn on, click, turn on, and for us to get patients consistently? If we have that, okay, it's like, right, how much are we spending and how many patients are we getting? I don't care about leads, I don't care about impressions. I want to see how many people are in the chair next week if we spend 100 euro,
Yeah.
1,000 euro, 15,000 euro, whatever it is, how many patients are coming in? So we get
Mm,
that metric. And then we have that metric. It's how much are they spending with us? Are they referring? Are they, buying the treatment plans? Are they staying? Do we need to tweak the offer? They're the two things. Audit, we look at acquisition systems and the metric behind it. We look at average patient value and the metric behind it. They're the two things. They're like the only things that we need to understand. And our focus goes into decreasing our acquisition cost and increasing
yeah.
average patient value. They're the main things. And if we don't have a system for it, revenue volatility is huge in clinics. That's what we see. It's like one
Mm,
month they could be at 20,000 euro in revenue. The next month they could be at 35. The next month they could be at 15. The issue with
yeah.
that is you can't hire, you can't predict, you don't have the cash flow, and the business owner's probably stuck still doing treatments.
Yes. Yeah.
So we look at is their acquisition system reliable? Do they have one? If they do, what's the cost? Can we decrease the cost? If that's all good, APV, can we increase it? Do they have a system for increasing it? And they're the main two things. They are really are.
Yeah. That's very, very good. And then assuming then they need to have a decent booking system or patient management system that you can extract that data and do that analysis with.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we partner with someone, we build all these metrics and we make it very easy to track.
The numbers don't lie. At least they can look at
Exactly.
that. It's the science behind the numbers gives them more
Yeah.
confidence to take that next step
Yeah.
to grow.
It's peace of
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, and that's why our logo is RFM Digital and underneath it's growing clinics with confidence. So I think partnering with us, the main USP or the main benefit we bring is that will help you grow with confidence. And I underline the word confidence, like
Confidence.
that's
Yeah.
the main thing, is just being able
Yeah.
to grow with confidence. Definitely.
Brilliant. Fantastic. And can you share a before and after story from a clinic that you have worked with?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let me think. Yeah, like we worked with all types of clinics. Okay, so you worked with physio, aesthetic, salons, etc. Okay. And I'll give a story from a partner we have in Munster and Cork. Okay, so in
Mm,
Ireland here, okay. Their big problem was, I think, when I speak to the business owner, he kind of opened up a second location quite impulsively. Probably wasn't
mm,
ready for it. Okay. And when he opened up, so he had two locations, he had two leases to pay. He had four staff in each to pay payroll for, and the revenue was volatile, and he had no acquisition system. So, like as I said, like referrals are great. You can build a big clinic off word of mouth, but the issue
Yeah.
is that can go dry in 1 month. In
Yeah.
1 month, you may not get the luck of someone referring you 10 clients or that compounding. So the issue is his revenue was very volatile. So he had two locations. Cash flow was constrained. He had payroll to pay. I mean, he told me the number of what his payroll was, and I nearly like had a heart attack. He had a huge payroll to pay every month, but no system to make sure that money was
Was
coming in.
covered. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we did was we implemented the acquire and retain system. And it takes a few months to build up, which is again like we were under pressure here working with him, like because he was payroll he paid, making 1 month make great profit, next month might just break even, and it was
Mm.
just a terrible position for him to be in. He was telling me that he couldn't be present with his kids, he couldn't do anything but stress about the business. He didn't even know where to focus his attention. He tried an agency, they kind of burnt him. It was just a bit of a mess. So what we did was we came
Mm.
in, we built the acquire and retain system. So we got a consistent systems for attracting patients. We had a system for converting patients reliably without relying on his receptionist or himself. He was stressed enough. And we made sure we were increasing the average patient value. Now, for him specifically, the acquire bit was the most important. We didn't want to focus
Yeah.
on average patient value that much. But after 6 to 12 months, we probably about 8 months is when he could finally take a deep breath because we had the consistent system.
Very
There's a bit
good.
of trial and error that go. I'm not gonna
Mm.
say everything's perfect. Like we've had some situations where the results haven't been the best. I can fully put my hand up and say that. And I think if someone sticks at it long enough and we can try enough, it will work eventually. So after about 8 months, he took a deep breath because reliably every day we were generating five patients for each link.
Brilliant.
And then now he's for four locations with consistency and reliability. So that's probably the best story I have. You could go from 20,000 to 15,000 overnight, and all of a sudden that's a decrease in, 25% in revenue overnight.
It's
And if
big. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why the reliability and the confidence is the main thing that we sell the partnership as. Is that you want reliability, you want consistency, and you want to grow with confidence. We'll help you do that as long as you're a strong clinic owner and you have good patients. It's like the main thing. That's the main thing. So
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
probably the best before and after story.
Very good.
Exactly.
And just to conclude, what is the best growth advice that you'd give a clinic owner right now?
Yeah, the best growth advice is number one, if you don't already, have a predictable system. Again, as I said previously, it's predictability, it's consistency, and it's scalability. So you want a system that doesn't just bring patients in, but a system that brings them in consistently. But we want them reliably as well. And we want it to be scalable. So we want to be able to, if we know we can get a patient in through meta ads, the great thing about it is we can just increase the budget, which is why I don't rely on Google Ads as much as other clinic owners might. So instead of us relying on Google Ads, we want a scalable system. We want a
Yeah.
system we can scale. We want a system that we can put more money into and get more money out. And that's the way I really think someone should grow. So again, main growth advice is that if you're relying on word of mouth, forget about word of mouth. That's great. That's gonna help you out when your advertising dips. But you need an acquisition system. And if you don't already have one, because I feel again, a lot of smaller clinic owners, like if they have one location, two locations, three locations, they may just be happy enough relying on word of mouth. But I've heard some horror stories about word of mouth and how it dips and how
Mhm.
it creates the revenue swings. And if someone has three locations, they have a big liability over their head with leases and payroll.
Yeah.
So build
Yeah.
the acquisition system, whether that's partnering with a grow partner like us or that's building it themselves. Again, I have a bunch of content. I'm offering the free consultation from anyone watching this call. So I'm happy to consult on this as well. We have partnerships that we don't even do the service delivery for. We just
Yeah.
advise them on how to do it because
Yeah.
they might
So
want to
they
be
can do it
involved
themselves.
themselves. They could have
Mm.
an in-house team. Some people
Yeah.
have, a marketer person in-house. So it's like we'll just consult on them on how to build a system. They can run it. So yeah, that's the main advice is maybe number one, understand your CAC to LTV. Sorry, number one, build the acquisition system. Secondly,
Yeah.
understand your CAC to LTV ratio. That's the main thing I'd say.
No, that's brilliant because I think a lot of some people I might be a bit naive and think, oh, I'll just post every day on Instagram and I'll be grand. But the thing is, the algorithm's totally changed, hasn't it, in the last few years? And you're lucky if your
Yeah.
content's reaching even 3 to 4% of your followers, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a part that's still important part of your marketing strategy to be seen out there. Exactly. It's also your website's very important to be found online. But you do,
Exactly.
they're not going to, do what the acquisition strategy does. You, as you said, you need to have a reliable system to get the patients through the door. And then once they're through the door, you need to build a proper system with them. Well, Ross, thank you so much for sharing all of this incredible strategy with us today. And I'm sure our clinic and salon owners will really get a lot of benefit from it. And what we'll do is we're going to put Ross's details in the notes below, and Ross is offering a free consultation, which is amazing. So if anyone wants to book in, I'll have Ross's details here in the notes, but feel free to message him or myself even, and I'll put you in touch. And we'll put the notes and the tags in our social media posts around this as well. But thank you again, Ross. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think everyone watching this and you listen, I love the opportunities to speak about this type of stuff. I just love the metrics, the advertising, the growth. I love it. So thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed the opportunity to speak about this type of stuff.
My pleasure. My pleasure.